Okay, you're welcome back. My name is Legendary Boss 247. The next sleeve on our table is the ruched sleeve, the ruched net sleeve, right? So for this one, you're going to need your sleeve pattern on your pattern paper. It could be a long sleeve, three quarter, or short, whichever one you want to make. Now I'm going for a long sleeve. Now you're going to have it complete, right? Folded into two, like a complete sleeve pattern, right? And you also add your sewing allowance. Now because I'm using a mesh, half inch will be enough for my sewing allowance, right? So about half inch here is my sewing allowance, right? And I also have my sewing allowance here. You must not add your sewing allowance at the wrist here because it's a mesh. You might choose not to fold it in, right? So I have half inch here for my sewing allowance, right? So you're going to cut it in full like this, and then go ahead, notch this point and also notch this point so that you can open up and draw a visible line. Remember, you're doing all of this on your pattern paper, like a white paper like this, right? So you draw a visible line from notch to notch to indicate the midpoint there. And then of course you get your mesh you want to use, or net, whichever way you want to call it. And then we'll proceed to our sewing machine. Thanks for watching. My name is Legendary. Okay, so here we go. So over to your sewing machine. You want to go ahead with your draft here for the sleeve, right? So you place your mesh on it, right? Now make sure you have it wide enough to cover the sleeve and way longer than your sleeve, right? So that we can start our gathers or pleats, whichever. So I'm starting with the selvage of the net here, so I wouldn't need to fold the wrists of my net here, right? So this is the wrist selvage of the net here, right? So I'm starting with that point. So you want to go ahead. Now you'll be using a matching thread for this purpose. Don't mind me, for this tutorial I'm using a contrasting color thread so that you can see visibly what is happening here. So you want to go ahead and back stitch, and then you begin your stitch, and then you start to gather, right? You gather the net as much as you want depending on the effect you want, right? And the amount of net you have on ground, right? So you want to go like that, like this. You just keep pleating this in like that. Make sure you're going straight, right? You see, at regular intervals like that, you just want to pleat like this, right? All the way down to the end. You can see it's very easy to do, right? So if you are careful enough, you'll be able to use about 1 yard for your both sleeve, but if you are not very careful, you will use like 1.5, right? So depending on how much fullness you want, right? Or one yard or 1.5 yard will be enough for the both sleeves, right? So again, we're going to do the same thing on this side, right? Like this. At this other part, it is way easier, like this. You can see, right? Like this, like that. You see? So if you've done that, go ahead and sew the armhole area also, right? Like this. And then we'll proceed to this other part also. Make sure you arrange your gathers nice and neat, right? Have it here, and then we'll go over the same thing on this other side here. Like that, all the way down. Right? So with this, now you are free to trim out the excess nets. Right? You can see it's very easy to achieve. Like this. Trim out. Of course, you know what to do from here. You can go ahead and sew this together before pulling out the paper, right? So that we have our sleeve. Go ahead and sew by the sewing allowance you give. For me it's ½ inch, so I'm sewing by ½ inch. You can see it's so easy to sew, right? And then of course go ahead now and tear off this. There you go, you have your ruched sleeve on a mesh, right? It's as simple as that. Very fine, right? Simple to make. So this is how to go about it. Thanks for watching. My name is Legendary. Okay, let's finish that. So make sure you remove all the papers, and then you can go ahead and fix this sleeve on the armhole, right? On the armhole, right?